Longwood City Commission to order, it being October 6, 2025, a little bit after 6 o'clock p.m. I would like you to rise for opening invocation and then followed by the pledge. Our opening invocation is by Father Matthew Jacob. Welcome. Haven't been to your church in a little bit. You got to invite me back. And then the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Boney. Okay, City Clerk, if you would please read the city community announcements.
4-8 National Night Out will be held on Tuesday, October 7, 2025 from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Candyland Sports Complex, 599 Longdale Avenue. This is a free event. 4B, the City of Longwood will host a Halloween dance party on Friday, October 10th, 2025 from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the Longwood Community Building, 200 West Warren Avenue. Tickets are $8 and there will be a costume contest, light refreshments, candy, and dancing. 4C, the Downtown Long Cruisin' Car Show will be held on Saturday, October 11, 2025 from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the Historic District of Longwood located off Church Avenue. 4D, the Senior Matinee will be held on Wednesday, October 15, 2025 from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the Longwood Community Building, 200 West Warren Avenue. This month's feature is Senior Moment. 4E, the City of Longwood will host Truck or Treat on Saturday, October 18, 2025 from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. at Ryder Park, 311 Warren Avenue. There will be trick-or-treating, activities for children, and a costume contest. This is a free event. Those are all the announcements.
And thank you. It usually runs out of candy and has to reload and reload again. That's a wonderful thing. And you're making fun of me with Senior Moment. I don't know what's going on there, but
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It was implemented.
it's my personal movie. Nobody else goes. It's my moment. All right, proclamation, please, or presentation, and Commissioner Boney, you have one for Brian Roy.
I do. I have the Community Beautification Award. The City of Longwood is proud to present to Brian Roy for the homes at 211 and 221 West Warren Avenue. He has completely restored both of those homes to their historic luster and has done a great job, and he's working on another home right across the street here on West Warren Avenue. And this is for the fourth quarter of 2025. This is signed by Mayor Brian D. Sackett on this day, October 6th. So Brian, come on up and let's give you the award. Come on.
Thank you, Brian.
There you go. Got a few words.
Oh,
Yeah, we want Facebook to hear it.
okay. Well, I appreciate the recognition for all of the work that not only myself but my family puts forth in trying to be good neighbors to the citizens of the great city of Longwood. I appreciate all the support that all of the people give me here, and I look forward to a long and continuing relationship as I have 2 other houses that we're working on and maybe more. So, thank you very much.
We appreciate you. Thank you, Brian. Congratulations.
Good choice. Yeah.
Okay, next we go to item number 6, board appointments. We turn to Commissioner Boney for a nomination.
I am going to postpone my nomination because I had someone come on board and then did not like Form 1. So I have to start over, and this all just happened recently. So if you give me one more meeting, I'll have a nomination then.
So that would be at the October 20th.
20th meeting, yes.
Okay, thank you. Keep us posted at that meeting then. And that was for the Parks and Recreation Board, Advisory Board. I have a District 5 nomination to the Parks and Recreation Board, which is from me, and I would like to renominate Judy Code to that position. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Thanks again, Judy, for willing to do it again.
And again, and again, and again. That
Yes,
works out
sir.
nice. Now, we have public participation, and I see some forms up here. One looks like a twosome's coming up at the microphone, but this is the time for the public to come forward with any comments on any subject related to city business. If you wish to speak and have not done so already, there's a blue form in the back of the room that can be filled out, and you can then hand it to our city clerk. If you're a part of a group, try and designate a speaker. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. The commission does not respond to questions or comments at this time, but may during the reports. We will try to answer your questions. However, there may be times we need to conduct further research to providing an answer. Any more besides these blues I have? Let's take them in the order that they were piled up here. I'll go with James Howard, Bridge Street. Please come forward. Do you want to talk about general stuff? He's outdoors? Then we'll skip over him and go to the next one. It's your turn, Jim. That's so, that is so all right. Thank you. Name and address, please.
Larry Howard, 1065 Ridge Street, Winter Springs, Florida. which is Longwood. That's one of my big things I want to know. See about that. I've talked to some of my neighbors, a lot of the neighbors, and the ones that's been there several years assume that they're in Longwood. I was just wondering if there's any kind of graphics showing exactly what is in Longwood. I knew I had to be annexed because my house was technically county until they annexed it. But I know nothing. My neighbors and everybody, a few people have said that we need to try to get them into the city, but a lot of them assume that they're already in the city. But they've been there several years, and I know that that thing that they had done about annexing it when it was sold wasn't that old ago, that long ago. So I was a little concerned about that, so. And another thing is, I don't know what you all done with the cruise or anything else. My mother lives at 708 Orange Avenue, right across from the grade school. And I've never seen a sidewalk go in so fast in my entire life. 2 days, they had dug it out, put the frame up, throw the concrete down. And it just seems like some of the other jobs around here tends to drag along, but all of a sudden, bang, and it's a great job. I love it. It added a lot to my mother's house, so I did want to say that. But I was just really concerned about the knowing what is in Longwood and what isn't. And another thing, there was a surveying crew over here. I didn't know if you all knew anything about it. The lot between Talmo and Ridge Street, they're over putting out some stuff. I think they sold the property, and the surveying crew said they couldn't swear to it, but they thought it was going to be a restaurant, which that is the city of Longwood. So I didn't know nothing if anybody knew anything about that. Because a lot of us was just, concerned, not really concerned, but wondering if there's going to be a town meeting about the property and how it was going to be used and everything. So that's it. I'm just curious. But mostly, I'm happy. I'm happy with everything. I love the concrete on the sidewalks. You all done a great job on that. I don't know why they did it that fast, but boy, they moved down that street real quick, so.
They've done quite a few sidewalks,
Thank you, Will.
either during our reports. I know the history of Ridge and Telmo. Under my report, or maybe our city manager, you'll hear more on this. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Next is the double crew of Bonnie, Brantley, and Dwayne. Is that, no, wait, what's that one? Daphne? All right.
He'll speak mainly.
He's going to speak for
He's gonna
both of you?
Yes.
Thank
the
you.
most
You're
part.
speaking on a VA program.
Yes,
Thank you
so,
very much.
yeah,
Name and
thank-
address, please.
so we're at 1155 West State Road, 434 in the Alibaba Plaza. We're really close to the Dollar General, so we're 2 suites down. Our company is called Alpha Sports Performance. We are a sports facility, but what makes us really unique is that we work with homeschool kids, we work with autistic kids, actual athletes themselves from middle school all the way to pro level. But we just started an initiative for our veterans. I'm a veteran that has served 5 years in the military. I got nearly 200 jumps, 6 deployments. So I know what it is to come back to real life and not really kind of know where you're at, and you want to deal with the things that you have seen, and but you want to go back to normal. So we're just starting an initiative that's going to help with the mental health, the physical attributes that come with it. We got a lot of people there, obviously, amputees. We got some blind veterans, things like that. And we're just really seeking support within the community because we have very big visions for Longwood, and just anything that anyone that would like to help or be part of something special. What you got, babe? We are going to have an open event come November 7th, and that's where you'll have an opportunity on November 7th to, 1, witness the class, and then 2, afterwards, it's going to be from, the class is 11 to 12, but we'll be there 12 to 1:30. And like, we'll just be there answering questions, just getting to know our neighbors and things like that. And so it is an amazing thing. We've already started the class, and just to see the excitement of the veterans already talking about not having to be on meds, like sleeping better, being nicer to their family, like appetites are coming back. We have a lady there that has Parkinson's, and you wouldn't think she'd even want to join, and she's joining in. So it's just an amazing event to see that, along with the other stuff we're doing. So just appreciate all the support. Again, we have really big things going, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, and thank you for your service, and I've seen you working with the lady in the building itself. So
Okay.
good things to
Awesome.
come.
Yes.
Ribbon cutting, open house, that sort of thing would go through our city.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now, Mr. Jason Byrne, please, speaking about the Historic Society, or for the Historic Society, or it's an agenda item.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Jason Byrne, 589 Seven Oaks Boulevard, Winter Springs, I'm sorry. I'm about 50 yards from Longwood, but I'm also president of the Longwood Historic Society and come here representing that organization today. First of all, I wanted to thank both the City Commission and the city staff for prioritizing the preservation of the Lewis House. So important, such a long time coming, and we just thank the partnership and support and for asking for our input, frankly. A saying that I like is, if you shoot for the stars, because even if you fall short, you'll land on the moon. And that to me means we got to dream big. And we need to dream big for what we see the future of Longwood to be. And even if we don't quite get there, we still end up with an amazing thing. And a quick history lesson, the founders of the Longwood Historic Society back in the 70s, you probably don't know this or may not know this, they envisioned Longwood like St. Augustine. The two buildings we moved in here, they thought that they would move in a ton more buildings. They would close down the streets to pedestrians only, and there would be a historic village that brought in hundreds of thousands of people. That is the kind of bold vision they had. Did we get there? No, but we also did end up with a delightful historic district here. The great improvements we put in over the decades from the brick streets and the restoration efforts of all the buildings. We ended up in a pretty good place. Even we didn't quite get to the stars, but we got to the moon. And I think that we have another opportunity before us in the history of the city here to shoot for those stars. Between the hospital redevelopment, the Sunrail, Ryder Park, between what we're doing in the historic district, partners like Brian Roy, we can do great things here. And the Lewis House to me is a big part of that. We did present some recommendations to the city. Above all, we want to say that we're supportive of whatever the city thinks is the most viable thing that preserves the building. Our three main goals is preserve it, to drive interest and add value, to drive interest to this historic district, add value to visitors, and to maximize the public usage of this building. As long as we accomplish as many of those things as we can, we're on the right page. Our recommendations did put it kind of on the front side of Ryder Park. We know there's some issues with viability with drainage and things like that may create challenges. We do think that is, if those could be overcome, would be most ideal because it could be utilized for more things, especially events. But if it ends up somewhere in the backside of Ryder Park, we also think that could be a tremendous destination to that back end. So we're excited. We're looking forward to partnering with you. Please let us know how we can help you more in making Lewis House preserved for a new generation. Thank you.
Thank you, and we do work with the Historic Society, and it's good to see three of your main characters here, so that's good too. All right, where are we now? We are on public input,
7B.
public participation, so 7B is something strange I saw parked out in the lot there. Seminole County, you have something to talk about, and Meeting Scout, let's hear about it. Name and your position.
Yep, my name is Christian Swenson. I'm the Assistant County Manager for Seminole County. So good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Thanks for having me tonight. I'm going to talk about Scout. Scout is it's a change in how we're doing public transportation in Seminole County. That's just starting. We're officially starting it with a full launch on October 15th. We'll get into some of that. We're in a soft launch period, so you'll have seen some of them. You took it today, so one pulled up.
And Mr. Mayor, if I just could real quick, I just want to say thank you, Christian, because this is much faster than I expected you at our last CalNo meeting. It blew my mind with your presentation and all of us. And thank you for coming here, sharing it with the city of Longwood.
I'm glad-
Very much. Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and I appreciate the time. So what is on-demand public transportation? So traditional public transportation is you go to a fixed location at a fixed time, and a bus picks you up, and, that's how transportation works, and it takes you to a fixed destination. On-demand is a different way of doing it. It's kind of like public transportation and Uber or Lyft, colliding. So you summon it, it comes to where you are, and it takes you where you want to go. And Scout is the name of our system here that we're starting in Seminole County. So why are we doing this now? So approximately a year ago, the Board of County Commissioners said, look, we're not getting great ridership through our current system in Lynx. It has a limited access. The cost was getting expensive, so they asked staff to go forward, look at that, come up with other ideas. We sat down with Lynx, we went through some different things, and we come back and we presented that to the board. And we also presented another model that was very similar to what was going on in Arlington, Texas. And Arlington, Texas, you may be like, why did you pick them? They're actually very similar to Seminole County demographically. They're nestled between Dallas and Fort Worth. They're a suburban community. Their size is pretty close to the county if you take out the rural boundary. So they made a lot of sense. And they had the dubious distinction of being the oldest city without public transportation. And they went down this path and started with on-demand, and they have a one zone that does the whole city. So the board said, we were interested in doing that. Why don't we go out and do something like that, and let's do it on our own. So it was to save cost. It was to give better access. As you see from this slide here, we still have plenty of people moving here, even though it seems like we're built out. We're redeveloping. Things are happening. We have approximately 15,000 residents coming in a year, and we just need to provide a better service. So what is Scout? I gave you a little bit of an overview about it being an on-demand transportation. It comes to you as you want it, where you want it. You request this through an app, just like you would Uber or Lyft. It's the Ride Freebie app. You'll get a QR code at the end of this presentation to see it. If you don't have a smartphone, there is a number you can dial Ride in Seminole County just on your cell phone, RIDE, and that will also get you a call center where they'll do all the same stuff. So it travels between designated zones. It picks you up mostly in a Volkswagen ID Buzz. That is the main fleet. We do have wheelchair access vehicles as well that supplement that. About 20% of the fleet is with Toyota Sienna minivans that have full lifts and everything that go in them. But the majority of the fleet is a fully electric Volkswagen ID Buzz. And we're to get people to Sunrail stations and just get people around. So who does it serve? It's designed to serve everyone. The current system we have, if you're not basically on a state route, you have you've got a ways to go to a bus stop. This is opening up to everyone. We're serving the entire county except for the rural boundary. And if you're not familiar with the rural boundary, that's a planning area of Seminole County. It's the eastern part of the county. If you think of Geneva, Chuliota, those are all communities that are nestled in the rural boundary. The more suburban core is the area that is being supported. It's good for seniors that may not have the mobility to get to a bus stop. It's good for students. We've had some conversations with the school district. There's a huge demand for students to dual enroll. The school system currently takes children to school and picks them back up. But if they have dual enrollment classes in the middle of the day, there's not transportation unless their parents can get them. So this will fill a void there. As I mentioned, it's got wheelchair access vehicles, so it's also accessible for people with disabilities. We are not getting rid of Access Links, which is the paratransit system for the county, but we are supplementing it with this. If you have a disability in Seminole County currently, you can book 24 hours ahead and get an Access Links ride. Because we're wheelchair accessible, we can fill that void if you're staying in the county and pick you up within approximately 30 minutes. So it's for working families, people going to Sunrail. As you'll see, I'll show you some zones where this runs. They're all based upon Sunrail stations with the exception of one. Why this matters? because it improves the quality of life here. It gives transportation access to people that haven't had it. It just really opens up the county in transportation needs, so. Where does it operate? So the county has taken that area outside of the rural boundary and we've divided it into 5 zones. So the zones have certain vehicles that are tied to them, and then they have vehicles, as you'll see on the bottom, that flex zone. So much like I mentioned, that Arlington model where you could go anywhere in the city on one zone, we're handling it this way, and the flex zone allows you to cross zones and go across the county. So we had started naming them after kind of what the Sunrail stations were, but then it became confusing for those folks that don't have a Sunrail station. You know, does Winter Springs get served or no? Well, they did, or they do. So we decided to change the name of the zones and name them after large water bodies in each zone. So that's what you'll see there: Monroe, Lake Mary, Howell, Brantley, and Econ. And then again, the flex zone allows you to go from, for instance, Monroe all the way to Econ. It's just a fare structure difference, and you know the vehicles will pick you up outside of the tethered vehicles that are there. So when we set up these zones, we tried to set it up where people live, work, and play. So each one of the zones is based upon where Sunrail stations are located. Make sure they're included in there if they're available to you. Where education is with Seminole State or UCF, where hospitals, medical care is, government offices, things like that. So we tried in grocery stores, we tried to make it, so if you live, work, and play and you don't need to go across the county, you can stay in your area, you can benefit from that just staying within the zone because it's a bit cheaper. So here's what we're looking at launching. Well, this is what we are launching. We're launching a full launch October 15th. As you've seen them, you know, if you've been around the county, as even a couple of weeks ago, they started in the Sanford area. We're rolling out a soft launch right now. It's kind of a training thing to get people accommodated to it. It's kind of a marketing thing, a test thing. So we're slowly rolling it out. We added this zone, which is the Howell zone, and the Brantley zone on the 1st. We are next week, I believe it is, we're adding in the Econ zone, and then the 15th we'll add the flex zone, and you'll be able to go outside of the flex zone. So you'll see the next bullet here about, it says discontinue links routes. So what does that mean? So because we found the links routes were not serving a lot of people, or some of them, we decided to look at those very closely. So in transit standards, there's productive and non-productive routes. The majority of Seminole County's routes are non-productive. And what does that mean? Well, there's a standard in FTA that says, hey, this is what a productive route is. Links has a standard, which is a little less than that, and we were not meeting there. We were not meeting that on a vast number of our routes. To give you an example, we have a route that runs on Sunday, and it actually gets a half a passenger per trip on the entire route. So it was very, very underutilized. We have some very successful routes. If you go on 436, you'll see a lot of people using it. Those routes that are productive in that fashion will stay as they are. We will maintain all of our connections into the region, so you'll still be able to go down 1792 at a point and go into Orange County. You'll be able to go through 434 through Maitland and get into Orange County like you currently can. We are discontinuing some routes. We're discontinuing the 46 route, the Lake Mary route, the northern 1792 route from the super stop, and we're also discontinuing the 434 route that runs towards UCF. Originally, we had talked about just shortening that route and just bringing it into Seminole County, but Links come back and said, hey, this isn't really productive to do that. How do you feel about running your microtransit service to UCF? And we said we're glad to do that if UCF was amenable to it. UCF is amenable to it. So any Seminole County resident can now take one of these Scout vehicles all the way to UCF, get their education directly from it. So the Links routes, though, even though we're discontinuing some and filling the void with the Scout service, we are having an overlap. We don't want anyone left behind. So we are starting our service, as I mentioned, October 15th for the full, flex, do everything version of it. However, we're continuing the Links routes until January 10th. And that there'll be that overlap, and then we'll continue to market to make sure no one's left behind. We're doing a lot of marketing and outreach, and we got people at Sunrail and different places and different bus stops talking to people, but we want to make sure no one's left behind. So on this, our average wait time goal is under 30 minutes. So if you book with the app, plan for 30 minutes or less at coming. There has been a few anomalies during the soft launch where it's gone longer than that. I can tell you we have had some, I checked before coming, I've had some as quick as 2 minutes. Our goal is to get everyone 30 minutes or less to get there. And then obviously, because it's public transportation, there's a shared ride ability to pick some folks up along the way. But we are limiting it to a max 10-minute detour time. So what does that mean? If you're the first one to book it, your ride will not be delayed more than 10 minutes picking up other passengers. If the algorithm says it's going to be over 10 minutes, it will not get them and it'll send a separate vehicle. So what will the hours run? This will be a 7-day-a-week service, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., and then Sunday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. So what is significant about these times? The routes that we're deleting largely run at these same times. So it should provide access pretty seamlessly to folks. It should give some pretty good access. As I mentioned earlier, you book through the Ride Freebie app. Our system is called Scout. Our vendor is called Freebie. The app is Ride Freebie. And Freebie services a number of areas around the state. Once you have this app, if you're in another area like St. Pete Beach or things like that, you can still use the same app to get to them. So this is what the app looks like. It's very similar to Uber. It identifies you. You have an account. It sees you. You pick a ride. If you don't know where you're going, there's actually a directory on here where you can say, food, get different types of eateries and pick. So all the businesses are loaded in there. So if you don't know, you can find something. It also goes through and it sees where you are, you pick your destination, number of passengers, payment method works just the same way as like Uber or Lyft, and then it identifies you. If you're not calling in on the traditional phone and you're using the smartphone, you get updates through your phone as to, your driver's Bob and fictitious name, obviously, and it's this, they'll be here in so many minutes and things like that. So what does it cost? So what does it cost? The base fare within a zone is $4. If you book through the app, you get 50 cents discount from that. And then you'll see the next bullet, there's a bunch of discounts, 50% off or greater for senior students, low income, or riders with disability. This is important because even though our system is $4 for the base fare in the zone, as you travel zones, it gets more expensive. It goes, 4, 7, 10, 14 if you're going from Forest from there. But what's important is those discounts. Those discounts bring the cost back for vulnerable populations close to links. So we have 2 tiers of low income. They're capped. We have, if you qualify for access links, it's capped as well, and you still get the app discount and things like that. So there, as I mentioned, there's the modest surcharge for crossing the zones. That was the tiered section I told you. And then the fare revenue comes back to the county, and we're reinvesting it in the service. We've started with 35 vehicles. I didn't tell you that before, but we're watching those times, and we know that we're going to have to add vehicles to it. We're guessing we'll probably get up to 55 vehicles at some point, and that'll be where we're looking. So how can you help? You can tell people. Spread the word. You've used it. Tell us the experience. If it didn't go well, tell us. If it went well, great. Pass the word. If you scan the QR code here, this will get you to the app. You can go to the App Store and get it the other way. But we really want to get the word out to people. The more people using it, the better. It's about quality of life here. It's about filling a void and providing a service for folks that currently aren't getting a service as well. So, and then here's just the final thing. I thank you, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you. And then here's just kind of the details about the system.
I have a couple.
Sure.
First off, when I got the slides, thank you for giving it to us ahead of time. Where did you get the number 15,000 people are coming in here? Because I looked and I found a net decrease, I found a net increase, nowhere near 15,000, it's about 4,000, but.
So I'll get our communications folks. They put that together.
See where that came from.
Okay.
Also, your $4 fee, when you did the 5 areas, you're aware that our major hospital moved into Lake Mary and we're not part of that route. We're part of Howell, so if which I do use Orlando Health Lake Mary,
Yep.
I'd have to pay the crossover fee, right?
You would have to pay the crossover fee to go in there. That is correct. But you would get discounts and everything that would make it fairly
Why
economical.
shouldn't we be in the Brantley one? Therefore we can get Altamont Hospital and we can get Lake Mary's.
Putting these lines together, it became tricky. So obviously there's winners and losers, with all the lines and trying to get everyone through there. It became problematic.
Well, Links, when you cross the line, they charge you additional. Commuter rail, when it crosses the line, they charge you more.
Yes.
I would tend not to use it if I'm going to get charged more. If you had my hospital on my line out of Longwood, which you have no hospitals out of.
Yep.
That bothers me.
As I mentioned there, putting it together, that there was problems as to, you couldn't, that's correct. The ER was, the ER's there, obviously.
That's,
But-
if you want a hospital person, the ER person is gonna send you up to Lake Mary.
You know, put it,
So, but the other question is, who's paying for all this?
the county.
So even though I would never use it because I can't get to that hospital, I'm gonna end up paying for that? It's like when the county was gonna pay for commuter rail, or cities were gonna pay for commuter rail. Here comes another one that the taxpayer's gonna end up funding. It's just a money producer.
Well, so this is actually saving us money. This actually saves us quite a bit of money over links. So this contract is millions cheaper. The service is vastly robust. I certainly appreciate your comment and everything in regard to the access on that. But we're millions cheaper. Even this year, we're 3 million cheaper even with the overlap. If you look at this contract without any revenue for fare box, any revenue for ads or anything like that, the contract stands at 5 million. Right now, our fixed route service for links is 12 million. That doesn't include all the Access Links people. So if you look at Access Links customers, we're paying over $6 million a year for Access Links customers. When you look at the trips people are taking, the vast majority of Access Links customers are waiting over 24 hours to book the ride, and the rides are staying in Seminole County. So that number, if they use this system at the $5 million, you know, not only does it save the $7 million difference between the 5 and the 12, but then you get into the 6 million. So it is a massive service increase, and it is a massive savings for the county. So we're actually, I know it's a lot of, you know, people always set out to do this, but in this particular case, it is better service for less money.
Okay, I need to see Longwood moved over, but for the hospital use, that bothers me a lot.
And
A
to be
lot.
f- and to-
All right, other comments? Yes.
Yeah, Mr.
You had his finger up.
I do when you're ready.
Let me turn this
No,
on.
go ahead. I don't
All
know.
right, yeah, there's gotta be a way of doing, if it's a hospital trip, the crossover has to, you know, be waived or whatever, however you would calculate that. Because that's the biggest concern for the Longwood residents.
Well, one thing we've actually met with the hospital. So we had a lot of conversations with them before we even got to bidding the package. And we talked to them, we said, do you want free zones? Do you want things like that? And we talked to them, because there's a way to actually geo-fence things and have free locations. We're working with the college on that. We're working with the hospitals on that.
Right.
The hospitals come back and said, we actually don't want that. Because if you need to go to the hospital, we don't want you getting in a scout vehicle to do that. Some of the hospitals were interested in going to an urgent care center, but they absolutely did not want people riding a scout vehicle to the hospital for the service. They're happy for them to go to their doctor's offices and things like that, but that was not something there's there. But we can set it up, and we could set, if you said, hey, City of Longwood wants everyone that comes to City Hall building it to be a free ride, we could work something out to be able to do that, so that this is the benefit and the robustness of this type of system. But as far as the hospital trips transporting people, those were active discussions that we had with the hospitals, and that was the feedback we got for obvious reasons.
Yeah, well, I didn't expect it to be an emergency drive to the hospital.
wouldn't.
It would just be when we have to go to the hospital or if our doctors are over across the zone. Now, the $4 base, I'm reading that as that's the base amount. Is it flat $4 no matter where you go in the zone, or is there mile charges on top of that?
No, if you stay in the zone, it's $4. If you book through the app, it's 50 cents less than that. So if you book through the app, it's $3.50, you stay in there. Now, that's before the discounts. The discounts are extremely robust, very robust. So if you're a senior, you get a discount. If you are a student, you have a .edu email address, or you're under 18, you get a student round. That again is another discount, 50%. If you're low income, there's 2 tiers to it. And low income, the numbers are fairly robust. I would encourage everyone to fill out an income thing, because even though they may not think they're low income, if they're entitled to any level of housing or rent assistance, which is a much higher number, you'll still get a discount. So, and then in addition to that, if you're on Access Links or you have a disability, it's a very, very bare bone charge to get there. It's $1. It's $1 to book through there, going there. So, and we've already preloaded. We got the Access Links customers from Links. We've preloaded those, and that's if you already have an Access Links account. But if you have a disability and you're not part of Access Links, we can also get you a discount from it. So the fees, don't get hung up on the $4. I would encourage everyone to look at their discounts because I think a number of people potentially qualify for them and should pursue them even if they think they don't.
Well, I think $4 is great. I just read base as being
Yep.
the bottom, and then there's charges above that, but you cleared that up. Thank
All
you.
right, no worries.
Commissioner Morgan?
Yeah, one of the things to remember, and I discovered it myself last month with having blackout issues and seizure issues myself, that when we go to our ER here, our standalone ER here that we now have from Orlando Health, is if you have to spend the night, you ain't doing it here. They transport you in an ambulance, they did it to me, my 7-foot frame and all, my feet hanging out the back, to Lake Mary on Reinhardt Road, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing is, this is not an emergency service provider, right? So if people are looking for emergency services, better yet, I'll use my mom as the example. She's had her knees done recently and had to do a follow-up doctor's appointment, and she was able to utilize this service for just a random follow-up doctor's appointment here in Longwood. And it was what it was. It worked well. I just wanted to offer the opportunity to residents that wanted to pay less money and have more options when it comes to if they were using links versus this option. That's all.
Mr. Mayor? Abby was next.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was actually going to wait until my report to report on my experience because I was under the understanding that I went online and I was told it didn't start till the 15th. And somebody said, when I was at Calno, they said, no, it's already out there. So I tried it. I signed up with Freebie. And I just want to tell you, it's great.
Thank you.
So far I'm billed $350. I haven't finished the ride out yet. It's just like the Lyft and the Uber that I'm used to. But I haven't gotten my senior discount yet. I may have to call Freebie on that. I don't know how to go about that.
I can answer that for you. So if you upload, there's an ID verification in there, and it should take it for that, it should take it for that reason. If you're having trouble with that, reach out to me or reach out to Freebie, but the ID verification should verify that. In fact, it'll do driver's license, passports, any standard ID.
Yeah,
It should.
I got blocked on that. That makes sense.
Okay.
My phone, I don't know why, but it blocked me on that.
Okay, I'm not, what I would encourage you to do, if for some reason there's a phone trouble with it, call Freebie and then work through their customer service line. If that doesn't work, we're available for you and we can make that match as well. I'm happy to do it.
Very good to know, and thank you very much for doing this. I think it's great, and thank you, Commissioner Morgan, for bringing it forward so we can educate everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner McMillan?
Mr. Mayor, I just, this great presentation. I know there are some concerns here, but I think the most important thing is remember that this is replacing the Lynx bus, and the Lynx bus wasn't going to come to your house on demand anyway. So you're replacing having to adhere to a Lynx schedule to being able to call something on demand within 30 minutes, which is a completely different experience. And him saying that you had to book Link access for the doctor's appointments and all that 24 hours in advance. So this offers more flexibility in that request. I don't know what the price difference is, but it seems like a quality of service that is higher than what is being substituted for less money. Obviously, it's right at the beginning, so they're going to monitor for feedback and make adjustments as they go. But I think this is a solid, strong effort by the county.
So
Thank you.
thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. Appreciate you all having me. Take care.
Thank you.
Very good presentation. Nice to hear that. All right, now we go to item number 8, which is the Mayor and Commissioners report. We start with our Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the 18th, I attended the Meals on Wheels breakfast. It was a very nice breakfast, and they are an awesome program. I suggest everyone check them out because you just never know. They may have something they do that you could utilize or somebody you know could utilize. Their Meals on Wheels, etc., ETC. I know it's an old word, it's not used that often anymore, but etc. And they offer a lot of things to a lot of people. So I was glad I got to attend that breakfast. On the 27th, I attended Three Odd Guys ribbon cutting for their brewery that's now here in Longwood. We have a lot of breweries in Longwood. I don't have a taste for beer, but but I know there are a lot of people that are happy that they're here. On October 1st, I attended Calno, and there was a presentation by Seminole State College. My alma mater, I'm pretty sure it was Seminole Junior College when I started it. I know it was Seminole State College when I graduated and or kept taking classes, but that's my home stomping grounds. I wish they never had to grow, but I understand it because it was just home to me for decades. I took all kinds of courses out there, from vocational, adult ed, vocational, got my associate's degree, all kinds of different computer courses, Lotus 1, 2, 3. The list goes on. I love Seminole State College. They're working on what they call their dream plan, their 5-year plan, and they are mainly focusing on increasing classroom in Altamont because of the nursing program. They need to increase out there. And this is a dream. They need money. They need funding. And with the federal government shut down right now, that was a sore topic. So, but they need money. And they're looking into getting student housing. So they're really growing. And of course, they have the 2+2, which is what I call the dual enrollment. So, and then as far as everyone else, they were speaking about the scout at the Calno, and about and that's where I was told, what are you talking about? It's already started. So that's why I looked it up tonight, and it was a very pleasant experience. I was just looking for that senior discount when I signed up, and I didn't get it, but now I know how to get it because my phone is, I don't know if it's a cheap data plan or what, but it doesn't like to do some things for some reason, because it is a cheap phone. But let's see. That's it.
All right, and thank you. And District 2, Commissioner Boney.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I too was at 3 Odd Guys Brewery grand opening and ribbon cutting. So glad that they're here. We're already planning socials there with my senior group and stuff like that. It's just, Daryl Richardson does a great job, and glad to have him here. I want to thank Mayor Sackett, Commissioner Morgan for attending the Life Prep dinner last night. All 3 of my daughters, 2 have gone through it. One is just started going through it. It's just an amazing program to help seniors get prepared for college, how to budget. Basically the stuff we don't teach them in schools anymore, how to balance a checkbook and things like that. So it's a great program, and I just wanted to thank the 2 of you for supporting them. Tomorrow, National Night Out. I just want to give a big shout out for that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you can come watch us cook some hot dogs, and we'll make sure everyone gets fed. And then finally, the Scout. I love this program. I don't know if the gentleman's still here. This will be presented to my senior group immediately, and it will be taken advantage of with that group. And I'll make sure I'll teach them how to get that discount. And that is my report, Mayor.
And thank you, sir. We move to District 3, Commissioner McMillan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too was at the 3 Odd Guys, and I'm glad they managed to get open, and I do plan on spending some time there at some of the socials, maybe not the senior group, but some of the other ones.
Oh, yeah.
Not yet,
Okay.
but soon. Anyways.
You can be my guest.
I did attend the Florida League of Cities Legislative Policy Committee a couple Fridays ago for code compliance, development, redevelopment, and just as an update, same issues that have come up in the past few years are still being discussed. CRAs, which we don't have a district, a CRA development district. Vacation rentals. I don't think those are going to be the priority ones. We're going to be deciding next month on what will be our legislative priority. But there's accessory dwelling units is getting a lot of attention in Tallahassee. There's Senator Gates has a bill that's been introduced, and apparently there's some young folks, young staffers that have a YIMBY, Yes in My Backyard bill out there that they really are, some of the younger people are looking for affordable housing, and they're trying to push a bill to allow for accessory dwelling units and basically preempting us, preempting cities to prevent them. So I'm keeping an eye on those, and as always, Live Local is being watched. They did a bit of an update, and it's interesting. There's not a lot of movement specifically, and that's interesting because I found out that since Live Local has passed, there's only been one project that's broken ground. I thought that surprised me. There are a bunch of them that are that are being worked on, but they're still, so it hasn't quite been the flood that everybody was expecting. But then, of course, that means maybe they come back to it. So we have to keep an eye on it. So if it didn't do exactly what they wanted, they might be coming back to do more. So, so those are going to be the priorities. We'll be deciding amongst us what to talk to Tallahassee about on my committee anyway. And other than that, I think that's all my report. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And that's a good update right there. Commissioner Morgan, District 4, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say on the 19th, Commissioner McMillan and I attended Lyman High School for ribbon cutting for Allie's Hope Hub for mental health. This is a huge grand slam for them because I can remember, and Tony, you were with me in this meeting, I don't know if you remember, it was about 2 or 3 years ago, we met with the principal of Lyman and introduced Joe Gallagher at the time to the brand new at the time Lyman principal. And they just wanted to get off their feet off the ground with a podcast for these kids to be able to have a podcast talking about each other's what is considered mental health issues. And now to see what it's turned into with now having Seminole County's very first Hope Hub, which is, if you guys don't know, I tried to take as many pictures as I could. I'm sure Matt did too. But it's this cool little nook where you have hopefully a social worker that's going to be in there that's able to work with these kids and going through the different stuff they're going through in today's climate. And again, it's speaking, I'm sure as many of us that were bullied as kids, we got to go home and that bullying would stop. But today with social media and online activities, you cannot stop facing it, unfortunately. And it's a huge thing to be able to have that at Lyman High School. And huge shout out to Joe Gallagher for not stopping. He had lost his daughter to this disease, and that's where Allie's Hope comes from. And the Hope Hub is in her name, in her honor. And very excited that all the Seminole County schools, because to be clear, Lake Mary High School had that podcast first. Lyman became the second. And the fact that Lyman was willing to be forward-thinking enough to say, we want to support this, we want to get the money for this, and we want to support our kids is amazing. We should be proud of that here in the city of Longwood. Working with them now, with Senator Jason Brother, to see if we can find state funding for social workers for all of our Seminole County schools, not just Lyman. They create state funding for what's called a substance use navigator in Orlando Health Hospitals as well as our Advent Health Hospitals. Well, why can't they do the same to provide social workers that know how to talk to these kids in our high schools? We cannot have possibly enough of them for these kids that are going through what they're going through, right? On the 20th, guest speaker with Sheriff Dennis Lima, State Representative Doug Bankson, and Harrison as well, for an event called Walk for Our Lives at Lake Eola Park. And it was a somber event, but at the same time also a positive event, as contradictory as it may sound, with mothers that lost their children to the addiction disease with fentanyl overdose, with one of the moms I spoke to that helped set this event up. Their child literally tried a sleeping pill for the first time, and that was enough. That had fentanyl somehow laced in it and took that child's life. And so Huge shout out to all the parents that are trying to make sure that kids are not lost in vain and try to educate others in the community. There's 5,000 different people that attended this event and attended that walk, and was honored to share my own testimony on overcoming my own addiction. But I gotta call a spade a spade. This is back in the day, and I have to worry about fentanyl being laced in my oxy or hydrocodone pills that I was addicted to early on in my professional wrestling career. That same day, I attended Wicked for Goodness Gala, which is a huge nonprofit organization from Next Step Paralysis here or in Orlando. And each year, I'm their MC of their event at Crane's Roost or here at Ryder, depending which is better weather. These are youngsters, these are adults as well, that are taking their first steps out of a wheelchair after being in a serious car accident or crash, or maybe some of them were born this way, right? Paralyzed, and taking their very first steps off their walker, their crutches, or their wheelchairs. And this was their major one-year event, gala, to raise money for that so they can continue to do the good work that Next Step Paralysis Orlando continues to do for our community. You already heard about the grand opening at 3 Yacht Guys here in Longwood. We're very excited about that. They've done gangbuster business in Apopka, and very excited to have them here in the city of Longwood. Daryl Richardson, I know it's a long road coming, but you finally jumped through enough hoops to get it done. And we're honored to have you in your business here. It's a huge additive. If you guys don't know where it is, it's on 434 in Rangeline Road, right across the street. That's going to be a huge main event plaza coming for us. For everybody here that already knows that there's a Chick-fil-A coming in there one day. That's only going to add more eyeballs to that plaza. Abby, I want to say thank you for filling in for me at our Calno meeting. My mom underwent double knee replacement surgery. So I stayed with her at her apartment and spent the night there and had to take care of her, obviously. And the minute I asked Abby, she's like, absolutely, I got it. So I just want to say thank you, Abby. And then sharing your report was awesome. Thank you. Commissioner Boney, thanks for having us at Life Prep Ministries Gala. I wish, these are times where I wish my son, Jackson, would understand his power and our Lord, Jesus Christ. I really do. Because what I learned from that, and if folks are watching at home and listening to me speak now, if you have an adolescent that you're a believer in, right, that want to learn about how to balance a checkbook, how to finance things, how to prepare food, prepare an actual dinner for folks. I was pretty flabbergasted by how much they do with that. And hopefully one day Jackson, many years from now, will be able to attend something like that. And I was just blown away by it. Very impressive organization, Tony. And I commend you for doing what you're doing for that organization, because they're shaping our future leaders of tomorrow, right? Huge shout out. Tomorrow going to be attending CFL Blaze and Goliath's coming to Seminole County at Decision Tactical. Also going to be meeting with, again tomorrow, Sharing Center's new CEO, as well as Longwood Fire Department. We have our National Night Out that you already heard about, and I have to somehow split that with. I'm still cooking hot dogs tomorrow. I want to point it out.
Yeah,
All right?
Okay, we'll stick one right
Yeah.
up your mouth.
Wow, that's our mayor, folks. That's our mayor keeping score at home. I'm joking.
How many years in a row have I had to put a hot
Yes,
dog up
but
to
it's not just one that does it, for good love of goodness. But I also have to split this with also speaking to Lyman High School, Young Man of Excellence, somehow in between all that, and then get back again to our National Night Out, and watch me, I'll do it. On Wednesday morning, we have our Boys and Girls Club of Seminole County, Faces of the Future breakfast. And with that, I'll shut up. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We'll give you the hot dog to start with when you arrive hungry. Right, Mr. Boney? Yes. Yes, see, we know the truth. All right, also, just a little side note here, ice machine, does your mother need one for her knees? I have one. So if you'd like to get it, we went through the knee operation, the broken leg operation, all those sorts of things. And Tony, it's been mentioned, the Life Prep. I was in a program back in 1976 called Upward Bound out of Keene State College in New Hampshire, where we took 100 kids for 6 weeks that were juniors and seniors and did many of those similar things, getting them ready for college, getting them ready for life, getting them ready for skills, vocational skills and those sorts of things. So knowing there's something like this in this county, this area, wow. My wife even went with me and she said that was really, really, really powerful. Good job. Ridge and Telmo, welcome. You are in our city. 15 years ago when we paved those roads, I don't know, you were here. And we did the loop right through there. That was our paving people. I'm not sure where the Range Rover place ended up. That might be at the new restaurant, maybe, where people are measuring. I don't think that's part of this city, but I do know that the bank in that corner is part of the city. So if you go Ridge and Telmo, the homes in there are all part of Longwood, Florida. So we should put a welcome. We have a welcome to Longwood sign right at the start of Telmo as you're coming from Winter Springs. All right, we'll go over there and say, yes, you live in Longwood. Yes, you live in Longwood. I'll leave them a little card. So Ridge and Telmo, welcome. Last week, we met with the supervisor of elections to see how we can coordinate things together. Very informative of what they're doing there and how their outreach and education is more of an important value right now, is to making sure everyone votes, make sure they clear the rolls, add to the rolls properly and all that, and how we can help them and they can help us. And so, very productive meeting. I saw Mr. Capizzi come in. I don't know where he went. There he is. I actually had somebody come up to me Saturday and say, what beautiful baseball fields you have. They came from out of state and they found me. Somebody pointed me out. I wasn't wearing the I make things up shirt, so I was telling them the truth. Thank you very much. But I wear that at the grocery store. But the workers are really dedicated workers, that whole team that's out there, and they also park their trucks where they're supposed to during events. And the big dumpsters are being gone, and everything's working in a really good way out there. We never have enough parking spaces, it seems, but even with all this rain, most games went, and that was a good thing. So compliments to your staff and to you as a leader of that team. I went to Leadership Seminole Board meeting. The main focus of that was that they're looking at raising fees to be in there, and at the next meeting, they're going to bring a proposal forward. I was part of the Florida League of Cities Finance and Taxation Committee, met for a real strong 2 hours talking about property taxes and sales taxes and where is the Florida League of Cities going to stand on those issues. And so when we meet again next month, they'll bring some proposals forwards as a summary of what we talked about at that meeting. Keep you posted. Oh, Odd Guys, yep, on 27th, very nice to have them to town. The other one is not in our city, and maybe this is the time to jump to get them in the city, is Post Time Lounge. They're closing November 2nd, and it's like a cornerstone of the city, and I think we need to bring them in. We have Northland Church, we'll take care of 427, we'll be in good shape, and that's the end of my report. All right, we move to commissioner and staff additions or changes. So are there any additional items raised during the mayor's and commissioner report?
Mr. Mayor,
And you have one?
I just want to mention one thing.
Yes, Deputy Mayor?
It was brought up at Calno. I wasn't going to say it unless somebody said something. You better be quick, because I'm pretty sure Castleberry wants that property.
I know.
Okay.
That's why I looked at him directly. All right. Anything else? Yes.
Isn't it
that when that property sells, it automatically annexes into the city of Longwood.
I don't know if.
Anything
the way that
along
corner works.
1792 that's in the county automatically annexes in when the property has to sell, though.
Mr. Mayor, all I know is
Yes.
that they have the Welcome to Castleberry sign on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
It's on the other side of the street.
They already called the shot, so.
Right, I agree.
But that one big sign up there ended up to be in the city of Longwood, correct? Across the street there. So, all right, when you get up to this podium, you can address that one. That would be really good. Because we don't know where we are. We know where Ridge and Telmo is, but post time. we'd like
Agreed,
to
I
take
was
that.
corrected that I didn't know where I was at Calno.
Yep. Any others? Anything to bring forward? All right. Any additions or deletions to the agenda, Madam Clerk?
None.
There are none. All right, so now we'll entertain a motion on consent agenda items A through G unless someone would like one pulled.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I move to approve consent agenda items A through G as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So I have a motion by Deputy Mayor and a second by Commissioner, so please call the roll.
Mayor Sackett,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Shoemaker,
Yes.
Commissioner Boney,
Yes.
Commissioner McMillan,
Yes.
Commissioner Morgan.
Yes.
That being unanimous, we move on to item 11, public hearings, and I see that there are none. So we move into regular business, which is to discuss and consider the appointment of Leanne Cartanina as city clerk and approval of employment agreements for city clerk. Now, Mr. Attorney or Mr. Manager?
I'll take this item.
Okay,
At your direction, at the previous meeting, I worked with Leanne to come up with an employment agreement, which is in your package. Essentially, it prescribes a employment as city clerk with a ongoing term, which is at will employment, subject to the terms of the agreement. An appointment under the charter provides for benefits which are commensurate to what typical city employees have at her tenure with the city. It does affix a salary, which is set forth in there. It has pretty standard language on identification of a public officer. It's similar to, I think it's the same as what was in the prior clerk's agreement. Also provides for severance compensation, which is the same as the prior clerk's agreement. And it does provide for requirement that the clerk would have to give adequate notice, decides to resign in order to terminate employment in good standing in order to get certain benefits from the city. So with that, and I'm happy to answer questions. I did draft this. I think it's in good legal form. With respect to the terms, the business terms, that's really between the commission and the city clerk. I did not negotiate salary or anything like that. That's her proposal, but I'm assuming that's based on your policies or whatever, how that works. I'm not up to speed on exactly how that's set, but all the terms of the agreement, as far as legal provisions, I'm absolutely fine with. And the rest of it, as far as benefits, are pretty much just incorporating by reference what the city benefits package is.
thank you. I did have one question that was brought by a phone call to me when they saw it, but the employee will not be held to a strict in City Hall office work schedule. In reading the above part to that, it's understandable. Can you address that? I think I brought it up to you. Or was it to you? Yeah, you.
I can address
Okay.
it. So this language is similar. It's probably the same as what's in city manager's contract. You keep in mind that this is an employment at will. It doesn't change that. So if you're not satisfied with the performance of the city clerk and there's a high degree of absenteeism, at any time you can, of course, address that. I think what this provision is essentially meant to provide for is that there's an understanding that the clerk's role is such that it isn't always a 9-to-5 situation.
Correct.
Of course, clerk attends these meetings, clerk attends community functions, will be working after hours, sometimes on weekends, at nights. And so from time to time, if a person comes in at 10 instead of, 9, there's not something in the provision of the contract saying, no, you must be here every day, 9 to 5. And so there's a little flexibility. On the other side of it, though, there is an expectation as a professional that they will be working full-time, and if they're not doing that, you can call them on it any time and tell them you're dissatisfied with it.
Perfect answer.
We would see it.
Thank you. I wanted just to get that out there because
Mr.
that was
Mayor?
a phone call. Yes, ma'am.
I spoke with the city clerk, acting with Leanne about this. I don't want that in her contract. I can see it in the city managers, and I question it in the city managers, because I asked him, and he remembers, I'm sure. I asked him, why would you put that in an at-will contract? And if my fellow commissioners want to leave it in, then it's left in. But the point I want to make is, I'm sure you all recall, the past city clerk would email us, if there's no problem, I'm going to be out in the morning. I mean, that was a courtesy that she extended. And I don't want this paragraph to circumvent any of that. So that's my concern. But I will go with the will of the commission, but I'm putting it out there that I don't think it belongs in this contract.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question on that?
Yes.
Just piggybacking on what Abby said, would we not be afforded those emails when the few times those happens?
I would always send an email if I were to be out or sick or going to an appointment.
Okay,
That would be expected.
okay.
Okay, well, Abby doesn't think it should be in there, but it's okay. I'll go with whatever the commission says.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I mean, and we are talking about the contract here, as, I mean, what, as opposed to what she says she's gonna do and we say we're gonna do, it's what does the contract say? So, I mean, I understand Commissioner Shoemaker's concern. I have a different concern, and that actually applies to our side of the ledger. I did talk to the city attorney a little bit about this regarding, it's a minor change. Performance evaluations, that's paragraph 4, talks about there's an annual one, approximately 45 days, and it says the commissioner shall have the right but not the obligation. I think the commission should have the obligation to do and maybe a specific provision in there saying if we're deciding to waive the evaluation, we have to just vote on it and say we're
Just put
waiving
that
it.
out there.
Correct.
So that if we can't just go to sleep and just let the contract go for, forever, at least until those goals are achieved. I mean,
Yes.
because there's the goals stated of getting the certified municipal clerk and then the master municipal clerk, that every year we're gonna at least make a decision whether or not we're gonna do a performance review.
I agree with that.
Because she reports directly to us.
I
and
agree.
So we have to make sure that we do that.
Can I ask for 2 fixes then? How about in,
I have one more.
Well, I would like to speak too. I've been raising my hand politely, but, yeah.
we'll go with you because you hadn't had time to.
All right. Is there in the contract, and I think you might have just said it, concerning the clerk certifications and a time frame to achieve those certifications?
Yes.
Under
Yes.
Section 4B, there's a goal of achieving the.
That's what you just talked
Yeah,
about.
they're
That's what I
stated-
thought, yeah.
They're stated as goals. That doesn't mean they necessarily have to be achieved by that. They're not requirements that they be achieved by those particular dates, but
Okay.
they're goals. But we could perhaps link the annual reviews to that, so that once you.
If I know
once
Leanne,
you
she'll
get
have
all
them
those
done in 2
certifications,
years.
Then we don't have to review anymore, then it's just an at-will contract.
I agree with what you're saying. Thank you. Go ahead.
One other question I had, it just crossed my mind. I did not ask the city clerk this. The 2%, if we approve the salary, she only went up 2%. Reason being was for the bilingual, the being able to speak another language. The review, are we going to be looking at 4% plus or 2%? Or is, I mean, going forward, is she looking at 6% or is she just looking at 4%?
Is that a question for me?
Yes.
That's a question for my fellow commissioners. What percentage are we going to offer? Because we decide what percent she gets at her review.
Well, if I may, so the way the contract's written, it doesn't establish what raises are in the future, so, I mean. I
Okay,
think
that's what I needed to know. I wanted to make sure. Okay. I don't want to obligate another future commission to
Right, that would. not be
6%.
correct to do. All right, I would like to see in the part where I brought up that, where you've got that sentence to the end, while the employer is generally expected to work, let's get rid of that whole sentence and just leave it as an explanation about that they're at commission meetings or outside in the public and all those sorts of things. So that would remove that we expect to see her here at the phone in her office. So if that sentence can go away, and we can also say, shall have the right but not obligation to evaluate, but that the commission will have an obligation to evaluate the performance.
Yeah, and I can restate that sentence because I understand what was suggested. So the first sentence of 4A would change to annually, approximately within 45 days from the end of each city fiscal year, the city commission shall evaluate the performance of the employee for the previous fiscal year and define the goals and performance objectives for the employee for the upcoming year, comma, unless waived by a vote of the city commission.
Perfect.
Yep.
Do we all agree on that? All those? in favor?
Just real quick on that, you said 45, does it have to be done within 45 days to the end or before the 45th day before the end of the fiscal year?
He says approximately.
Approximately within 45 days from the end of the fiscal year. So the idea is you review before the budget starts.
Correct.
You can deal with raises in the budget.
All right.
Okay.
And if that's not adequate, I mean, feel free to change the 45 to more. I mean,
Well, I just want, I just wanted to clarify that it's not day 45 to day 0. We can do it 60 days before if we want. I just didn't want to know if it was within that 45 days before the end of the fiscal year. Yeah, we can do it whenever we want, but that's the timeline. I'm good. Yes, perfect. Thank you.
and just clarification on 3B, you want to delete the entire last sentence?
To that end where it starts.
Okay,
there.
that's fine.
All set, any more questions?
No, thank you.
I would suggest
Probably need to vote on this.
that deleting that sentence actually creates more flexibility, not less, but as far as the employee goes.
It does.
I don't know if that's your intent, but I do feel compelled to at least
Yeah,
argue that's,
It does.
expected to work during regular business hours, when, and then holidays when needed. The employee will not be held district, city hall.
Then it's better to leave it there. Just leave it there.
I got no problems leaving it in.
I have no
I mean,
problem with
it's,
that.
it's, yeah, I mean,
Leave it there. The adjustment to this contract would deal with the 45 days and the evaluation.
Just keep in mind, I mean, if we're doing annual reviews, we
right,
can address when.
correct.
Whether or not someone's in the office often or not. and we can-
That's
we
when
can
it's
do
going to
that.
come up.
Right.
Let's
Yes,
have a
exactly.
motion. Let's have a motion on.
Mr.
on
Mayor,
12A, yes.
I move to approve 12A with the suggested changes by the commission as written and presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I got a motion from Commissioner Boney, second by Commissioner Morgan. Call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Shoemaker,
Yes,
Commissioner Boney,
Yes.
Commissioner McMillan,
Yes.
Commissioner Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Sackett.
Yes. Thank you. You're official now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And welcome to the crew. All right, discussion and input regarding potential locations for the Lewis House. Please come forward. Communities.
Did, Mr. Mayor, did you want me to address the post-time lounge thing first?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so that property currently receives City of Longwood utilities, so it can be annexed at any time. The other thing, as it relates to Castleberry, it is contiguous to the City of Longwood, it is not contiguous to Castleberry, and contiguity is a requirement for annexation. So there's a number of reasons that's not so much a concern. We did reach out to the current owner immediately after we all found the news and let them know that we would assist in regardless of their current status, we would assist them in getting a sit-down restaurant at that location, and we've already started reaching out to folks. We have some interesting, obviously that's an interesting opportunity given the fact that it's on 1792 and all those things. So we're confident that will be in, and we're very hopeful given the situation that we'll be able to get a good restaurant there. So
Perfect.
okay, so Lewis House rehabilitation. So this is following up our discussion at let's see here. This is following up our discussion at a previous meeting, and we. Let's see here. Well, it did work.
You can read it.
Well, yeah, no, it's just it's not jumping forward. No, it's not it's not going forward is so much the thing. Let's see. Yep, there we go. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Congratulations and thank you. So this is the follow-up to our previous discussion. What we did is we've brought 6 locations back to the commission for consideration. Really, all of the locations have some pros and some cons, and there's, I think, a lot of interesting things about each of them. But in preparing that list, the considerations that we had were having appropriate space to relocate the house, including the front porch, which you'll see in this this picture here is not currently on the building, but is something that in its future state we would want to see. Prominence and visibility of the location. And the use that we presumed for it was its design as a multi-purpose facility that could support small meeting and gathering space, potentially for rentals. And just a kind of a clarification that anything that we do come out of this meeting with, there's still going to be geotechnical investigations, particularly as it relates to muck and things like that, during the design and permitting phase. So to the extent that we have questions about that now, some of that is unknowable until we actually do some of that, but we wanted to have the discussion about what locations the commission is comfortable with before we went to that. So we looked at Ryder Park, as that was some of the discussion, and there was a mention of the Clock Tower Park at the last meeting, so we did want to address that. Ryder Park, obviously, per our Leisure Services Department, 80,000 visitors per year overall with weekday traffic events in the park. Obviously, there is existing synergy with the historic district, with the Senator 2 and some of the other elements that are in there. Less vehicle traffic than the Clock Tower Park location, but obviously more proximity to city events and those types of things. Obviously, I think everyone's pretty comfortable understanding the kind of the pros and cons of the 2 locations in general. So the first 2 sites are ones that, and as Jason mentioned in his report earlier, we reached out to the Historic Society. We asked for their input on not just the locations, we actually also asked their input on the RFP and some of the elements that should go into that. We'll discuss that a little bit here towards the end. But before we talk about the first 2 sites, the Historic Society described these as essentially 1A and 1B for them in terms of if everything works out. And we'll talk about the everything works out part in a second, but these 2 are at the top end for the Historic Society, and which is why they're at the top end of your presentation. The first one that we wanted to take a look at was this area here that is behind the pavilion on Church, near the restrooms, and so between the pavilion and the Senator, which of course places it between the pavilion and the amphitheater. You see the view from Fire Station 15, the view from the boardwalk. Certainly would have a prominent space from the boardwalk, prominent space in terms of its overall view when you enter the park from the Church Avenue side. One of the concerns had been, and I think was a good one, about the concern of the view from the fire station. So if we did have a restaurant that faced out to the park, there was concerns about the Lewis House obstructing the view. You'll see that we do actually have a area with picnic tables there with the shade structure there that currently exists between there. So it really would not, materially change that issue from the fire station portion, and really actually would create a feature point from the boardwalk. And also the pond itself would function as a feature viewing out from the Lewis House. So there are some benefits, I think, either way on that. Plenty of room to locate it in any direction that the commission saw as suitable. think we've covered a lot of this. Proximity, with both Site 1 and Site 2, there is proximity to the existing restroom. Our hope would be that that would eliminate the need to add a restroom to the Lewis House by itself, unless we wanted to, but it would give us the opportunity to save cost. But beyond that, challenges, we did discuss there's some potential muck in this area. A geotech investigation is required to ensure the feasibility of it, but we don't, muck does not preclude it. It just means we may have to do some more to make it work. It's a relatively small building, and there are ways to mitigate those issues. So it is potentially a cost item, but not something that would preclude it. Discuss the impact on views from the fire station's potential site. So a lot of pros with this one, not a lot of cons, not a lot of things that hold us back on this one. Site 2, this is the northwest corner of the Fire Station 15 property. We've got the view here looking towards the fire station property. Obviously, from the last one, we saw the view looking from Fire Station 15. You see that it's at the corner there. Lots of space, a little bit strange of a shape that somewhat limits what we could add to the building in terms of the porch and those kind of things, although we think we'd be able to make that work. Prominent location at the entrance of the park, prominent location to the amphitheater. You'd be able to see the amphitheater from that portion. The biggest concern with this one and kind of the top line challenge that we have is the city is working on a drainage project to address the drainage issues that currently affect the fire station. And no matter what we do, we obviously we have the new Fire Station 15 coming in. We have, but whatever we do with that site, these drainage issues are still going to be an issue. So our Public Works Department alerted us to their concern that addressing that drainage issues might require using that northwest portion, using that grass area, and so their concern is we don't want to create something where we're putting that on top of it, potentially interfering. Some other things, some timing issues. Obviously, currently Fire Station 15 is in operation. Really, barring anything strange, we look to move pretty quickly on this project. So we might run into an issue where while Fire Station 15 is moving or is operating, we would be doing construction. Again, things we can work around, but a challenge. And as the commission discussed at the last meeting, there had been discussion some time ago about a restaurant at that location. That restaurant might potentially look out at the park. If you put the Lewis House there in that spot, you're blocking the views of the rest of the park. And so it does put some amount of a cap on that location and its future use. And in here, we've got the text from the along with Historic Society, talking about the visibility and function. From our discussions, really a lot of those benefits apply to both Site 1 and Site 2. We also reached out to Brian Roy. Obviously, we all know Brian Roy, and congratulations to him on this evening. But some of his concerns about the park, some of this is a Ryder Park location in general, but some of it is specific to these two sites. Handicap access being unsightly, something that we certainly take seriously and would want to work in to make sure that it wouldn't be. Impacts on the existing fire station, impacts on parking, timing of events, architecture of the building not matching the park. These are all real issues and things that we would need to explore, but I do think there's opportunities to explore those, but wanted to share those with the commission, obviously because we value Brian's input as well. The next two locations are what we kind of call the southwest and northwest lawn. You see where the star is located here, and then of course the area right to the north. They're kind of similar. One is larger than the other, is really the primary difference, but you kind of see what they look like here. Plenty of room to shape it either way. It is located in the back of the park, which depending on your vantage point can be good or bad. On the one hand, it gives people a reason to go to the back of the park. It also might provide kind of a unique opportunity for people to rent it because it is in a little bit quieter area of the park. But it also is just something where it would be a little bit removed from the spacing of everything else, which could also have a negative impact on its rental. Some people might like that it's quiet, some people might want something a little bit closer to the action. Same deal with the northwest lawn. The only real difference here, it's a little bit smaller, although the smallness of it actually kind of is interesting because it has the butterfly garden, it has the misting fountain, it has a swing there. It actually almost kind of looks like it's calling out for having something there. The other kind of benefit to that is, as obviously we've purchased the 451, 455 building for the for the fire station and potentially eventually the fire station, the police station. It has a pond behind it that actually already has a walking path around it, already looks like it could be part of the park. The Lewis House could kind of function as a gateway between the two of those things, kind of an interest point that connects that. Again, same issue, the rear of the park kind of cuts both ways as a location. The Warren Avenue entrance, this was one that we discussed, and fairly quickly we learned, speaking to Leisure Services, that as much as it looks great visually and makes a lot of sense for people to come in from that entrance, this is a lot of activity at this portion. A lot of the folks who rent pavilions, they kind of share this lawn space. Obviously, it's the location of the Christmas tree at that part of the year. So there's a little more action there that would be potentially impacted by having the Lewis House in that location. Again, none of this is something that couldn't be overcome, but we're just kind of trying to explain what separates some of these different sites from each other. Clock Tower Park parking area. There's the view from Church Avenue, view from Jessup. Even though it is very visible from Ronald Reagan, it is not necessarily a place where people's eyes get drawn to. And it would really, in that location, it would have to be something that people were making a special trip to go to, whereas in Ryder Park, it would be something that you could essentially stumble across and learn about it. Whereas at the Clock Tower Park really would only be activated during big events, or if people, rented it individually, but there's probably some question as to whether they would want to do it there. Pros are that it does have dedicated parking. If you did have it there, you don't have to build any parking for it. You don't have to make any changes. It's there. But that in and of itself is a little bit of a challenge because you are taking up 3 parking spaces where parking is already at a premium in the district as a whole for some of the larger events. So those are the 6 locations. Really what we're asking for the commission from tonight is feedback and direction on the proposed locations. I think we would be very happy to come out of tonight with probably 2 locations, a definite location and then a backup just in case something happens with the primary location. So that's what we'd like to come out of tonight with. Just as far as the next step goes, once we have those ranked locations, we will work with our finance and purchasing teams and work on getting an RFP out. I've spoken to our new purchasing manager about it and impressed upon him the importance of making sure that the person that we land with, and obviously we have to do a competitive bid, but the person that we land with has to have experience in historic structures. That is the primary goal of going out to bid on that, and certainly successful experience. But we did reach out to the Historic Society, and I want to thank Jason, Tom, and anyone else who worked on that. We got, as you saw in your agenda packets, not just feedback on the locations, but very extensive, thoughtful, and thorough information about the very specifics of what they want to see for materials in there. And that is immensely helpful for us because we know as staff that for the commission to ultimately be happy with this project, they're going to want to see that the Historic Society is happy with that project. So we know it's important to involve them from the outset, involve them in the RFP process, and make sure that we're having that communication. Understanding we may arrive at a point where we have to say, we would all love to have this. It's a cost item that we can't work. We're obviously going to be watching out for the city's best interests financially as well. But to Jason's point about aiming for the moon, landing in the stars, that's a lot of what we're going to do with this process is see the most we can get done and then start working away with the budget and the limitations that we've got. So that's my yapping.
I guess we need an HR here to do a little vote thing.
Right,
But
exactly.
instead, what I think we should do is maybe when you want to talk, maybe focus on 2 or 3 of the places and see if that works to something that's more cohesive. And we'll start every commissioner to address what they would think.
So, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. Really quick, Chris, would Site 1 take up then the picnic table and the sun vent?
No, sir, it is actually next to that,
Got it.
so,
Thank you.
yeah,
That's all.
no problem. You can see there.
Commissioner McMillan?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, my thoughts are, if you could put the site map for 1 and 2, or just of Ryder Park.
The 1A and 1.
Yeah, that there. My thought process is looking at the function of this building. If we're gonna be using it as a multi-purpose use for meetings, et cetera. I think that those two, there by the, I guess, 1 and 2, where the Star is and then the fire station property, they're adjacent to the paved, bricks and access for people to get into and out of. If you think about it, if you're gonna rent a building for a meeting, do you wanna drag your stuff all the way to the back of the park? And I don't think as many people would. If it's for, if it's not just a pavilion like for the, like at the park for letting the kids run around and have a picnic or cookout or whatever. This is something specific, and if, it just seems to me that if we're gonna get people to rent it and get some income in here to help, pay for it and maintain it, that it needs to be closer to where it's easy for people to get into and out of from their parking, and as been mentioned, the handicap access, et cetera. Even the part between the pavilions down there on the bottom side, that, at least it's even got by the parking lot, Chris, down by the tennis courts over there. Yeah, that's got that little bridge right there, so I mean, even that's a little there. And my preference is still for the fire station property, because Ryder Park, is an award-winning park, and the balance of green space and amenities was designed, and, we're gonna be giving up green space if we put this house actually on the park. And if there's traffic to it, that's gonna, you're either gonna have to pave it or put a path, or the grass is gonna get traipsed upon. So the extent that certain parts of this park were designed to be passive, I think they were designed that way to be passive, and, drawing traffic, more foot traffic onto it may not be what we want to do in terms of, for maintenance, or et cetera. But, and that's my concern also with the mud on the side of where the Star is, section 1 there, is that it might just be a little bit more difficult. I do like the idea of being able to see it from the bridge and those things, but I really would like to, ideally would like to incorporate it into the old fire station 15. I know we haven't talked about what we're gonna do with it, but if we keep the existing building and use it for city purposes, with the bays converted into a meeting and some office space there, it would be easy to maintain. It could all be one complex, one city complex that's not exactly on Ryder Park. So that's, but still there and still visible from Ryder Park. But those are my thoughts. I think that it should be either one of those two. So if I had to pick two, it would be those two, because it'll get a lot of foot traffic, and you have that easy access in and out with because that's where the food trucks go, and that's where the farmer's market goes. So I think it's easier for people to get access it.
Thank you. Then we'll work this way, but I would only prefer, and I agree, the passive part of that park is the big grass area and those two butterfly areas and over there, the exercise area. I would love to see that in place right where it is in that picture with the Star, because we have our history, and then we move into our future. The future is going to be the looks of that fire station, I'm sure. It'll be something gorgeous. But where that Star is, we also do that walk-through history, because the Star then becomes the place to put that building, because it's right next to the Senator clone. And that's a piece of county history right there, when the hospital bought that for us and we placed it there. And I think you walk down or bike ride, or you take this new Scout down the road there, and you'll see it sitting there and wonder what it is. And I also am sold that the bathroom is nearby, which is perfect. And I just see this as a walk-to thing. You can come from the train station parking lot, come across the street. You'll see that building and you wonder, what the heck is that? And preserving its design of what it looked like with the wrap-around porch, that sort of thing. That's the only place I would consider. Possibly second would be the fire station lot, but I think it's got some things that would have to wait and see what's going on with our new fire station before we can use that spot, plus the muck. I've seen festivals there where they've run water and the muck gets really thick in that area. I would like that right there. Your turn.
All right, I'm gonna start out with the absolute no. As much as I am enthusiastic and want this Lewis House project to happen, I am more engaged with economic development of the city and more concerned with that. And that fire station is a huge piece of economic development for the city of Longwood with whatever we put there. If we put that house on that property, we are gonna lose a lot of potential businesses and restaurants to come in and take over that spot. And having a restaurant right there is only gonna accent the entire park. I do like number one with a lot of the reasons, bathrooms, everything, but I also like number four. I'm a toss-up between 1 and 4 because you do have the, as you described, the butterfly area, the fountain, the little pond with the walk around and stuff like that, and it'll be a good accent over there. Don't know really, we're just speculating the uses of this right now to say, well, who's gonna walk and carry their stuff back there versus here by the parking lot? It really depends on what the use is gonna be. There could be a entrance to the park where number 1 is, and the back could be a birthday area for families to go and have birthdays. The other no is number 5, right there in between the pavilions. That's that area. If someone rents those pavilions, that grassy area right there is being used by those families, as well as that's where we put our Christmas tree. So that's there. So really, my order would be, it's really a toss-up between 1 and 4. And then, of course, number 3 would be that third choice in there. So it sounds like we're all agreeing to number 1.
And Mr. Mayor, I didn't get a chance to vote on 1 and 4 as well.
So I know it's
So far, Abby's still over here.
I didn't give a number though,
I
sorry.
said, so far, Abby's still over here. My main focus is that it gets done. It's been sitting there since God knows when. That's my main focus. I am in agreement with, in a sense, an agreement with number 1, but I witnessed, as did you, Mr. Reddit, the muck that they pulled out of that Ryder Park in that area. And I have concerns that, one, we might go over budget, just getting it demucked, because I don't know how much has settled, and we know that what the ground can hold, but that ground does get wet with big rains, so.
If I may, just on the budget, on the budget concern, so the first thing we would do with that location, really any location, but with that location, would be a geotech evaluation.
Correct.
So we would know, before we spent money, we would know.
You would know,
Yeah.
but then the bad news comes. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying we're gonna go over, I'm saying we're gonna get the bad news.
Sure.
That.
And that's why I think we're hoping for that second location too in
So
discussion.
the muck being there, and another suggestion I can make is, because I ride my bike down there, but it's a heavy bike, I can't carry it up the steps. When people are in the aisles and there's an event going on, it's not that easy to come up the brick road and get over to the lock the bike up, to where the bike racks are. Where the the steps go up to the bike rack, you could probably just make that a handicap ramp. But that would solve your ease of issue to get to the sidewalk, to get to the house. So that's just a thought I want to throw out there.
Is that, Deputy Mayor, is that here that you're talking about?
Right
So-
side of the bathroom, if you're looking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by-
Okay.
by the bathroom, you have stairs that go up there.
Okay.
Which I have to ask somebody to carry the bike down or go around. I'm not going to attempt to carry that 100-pound bike up those stairs. I'm just not going to even try it, because I'll land on my you-know-what, I'm sure, so. But I kind of like that idea because of the history and what's involved there. But I also kind of like putting it over near the Mustang Garden.
Okay.
So Butterfly Garden.
Monarch.
Yeah, Monarch Garden, Butterfly Garden. Because there's not that much over there, but I don't know about the ground, so I'm really concerned about the ground anywhere in Ryder Park. And if Ryder Park doesn't pan out, as long as we can put it in the clock tower, I'm okay with that. But actually, whatever the majority of this commission votes for, I'm okay with, because it's getting it placed. But I'm just giving my thoughts on the choices. That's it, thanks.
Right. Mr. Mayor, can I make one other comment?
Well, I thought you had something more to add. No, you were doing the vote thing, okay.
I missed my numbers my first time talking. Mine's 1 and 4. Sorry.
Follow the program, okay.
All right, mine's
Yes, sir.
2 and 1. Go back to where you just were. And I just want to point out when I mentioned green space. So we already have an existing pavilion that's right there along Church. And we also have that newly installed shade where there's the dining. And that green space where you're putting the house, that's where the kids go run and play around, whatever, while people are, enjoying themselves. That's the space for all the people that are in there, because they're already crammed up against the fire station. That's why I prefer it. I see that design there, that, that's, you're gonna run around, you're gonna walk, you're gonna go through all that, and we're just gonna plug that up. And again, this is something we haven't even paid for yet, the entire park. So, I appreciate economic development, but I also, we gotta pay off. This is something that has been very expensive. It's our crown jewel, and I like to keep it as pristine as possible. And I prefer to have it down there, right on the corner there of a part that wasn't contemplated. So that's why.
Well, in that vein, if we put it there in the corner, we're gonna lose food truck space and vendor space on Saturdays because we're not gonna be able to block and be in front of the house. So that whole corner will now be not usable for fire, or for food trucks or the Saturday morning, I can't even think of what we call it, farmer's market, thank you. So we'll lose probably 6 to 8 spots with that house there.
I have a question about the farmer's market. Is it moving to Ronald Reagan? I read something that it was. Was that an old post?
I have not heard that either way. I don't know who's these are.
I agree, but I read that it was posted somewhere.
Good evening. It was discussed to possibly move the farmer's market to the frontage on Ronald Reagan and West Church Avenue. That was all dependent upon the redevelopment in that area, when that whole area around the clock tower, basically redefining the hardscape and the landscape up there, because it's kind of closed off now. So the original design that was given to us, conceptual design, I believe it was a couple of years ago, had a lot more opening, it had seating, some more lighting, which would be much more conducive to a farmer's market up there. But moving the market will be totally dependent on that development. So as of now, we're not quite sure if that's going to happen at all at this point, depending on, I know there are budgetary concerns with what was originally put out for that redevelopment up there, so we're not certain yet. So it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay, thanks, I just wanted to make sure of that.
So is the best way to just put something down on a scrap of paper if you want numbers 1 and 5 and we vote? Or I feel like there's a couple that, oh, someone already did. That there's a couple that are coming in as leaders and a couple coming in as absolute no ways. So what's the will of the commission? You want to put down numbers? Or
1 through 3, the top 3, and give them to Chris.
Voting.
or
just
just the
like we
top
did
2?
with-
Let's do the top 2. 'Cause then We'll do the top 2 because then we'll get a third out of that with the way we vote.
I mean, I'm agreeing to rank them, but, I mean, we're still gonna vote on which one's
Correct.
right? Not-
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Not
he's,
blind
we're just
voting.
narrowing it
No,
down,
we're
and he's
not
gonna
saying-
say, these are the
This
top
is to,
2.
this is to get the sense of the commission.
Number 5 is
Yeah.
not winning.
Who's going to collect them? Mr. Kidner?
I can absolutely.
Well, we're not actually voting on a spot tonight, are we? We're just giving you direction to
That's the
work
direction he
on
wants.
the top 2 sites and then present.
So if, let's say, so just listening, it sounds like there's a consensus among, or at least maybe not a full consensus, but there's, around 1, it feels like we've got some coalescence, right? And then I think there was also some discussion of 4 as a backup.
Yep.
And then also, Commissioner McMillan had mentioned the fire station site. So I think we asked for 2 to 3 sites. I think we have 3 sites. We would not, the way that we would probably work through this is if the commission comes out of tonight with 1 as the clear site, that's where we would start our efforts. We would put the RFP out with that in mind. We would get the designer, the contractor on board, and we would start working with them for 1. If we get out there and let's say the muck becomes a major cost issue or something else becomes a major cost issue, we might then come back to the commission and say, we have this backup, we vetted the backup, but we may have to switch to the backup. If everything goes well with 1, the way that it would work is I understand it from the preliminary discussions with the purchasing manager, we would do the RFP, we would select the contractor team based on their qualifications, based on their proposal, and when they come in, we would work with them to get to a proposal with a dollar amount, and then that would have to come before the commission before we would expend any money. So so you won't see, we will move in the direction of one of these locations, the number 1 location. And then the hope would be the next thing that you would see would be us coming to you with a dollar amount that's within the budget, hopefully significantly under the budget, and then we're moving from there. That's the hope.
I see you writing them on paper. I would prefer that you not do that unless you're writing your names on it, because I'm going to have to read.
Yeah.
I know. Well, you
I
guys
haven't
are all
done mine
talking.
yet, I'm waiting for instruction.
You said that?
You want us to put their names on it because it's public record?
Well,
We want
we're not
full-
allowed to do secret ballots,
Right.
so
So each one of us say our 2, right?
Attorneys, I tell you.
Mr. Langley, each of us name our 2, correct?
I would, can we
All right.
orally do that? Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go. And Chris, you better.
Mr.
I'm, it's all up here, buddy.
Oh, no, this is making it official.
Now I'm worried.
Not what you're dreaming of.
Yeah.
You're only going with 2.
I'm joking.
We're saying
Um,
orally, right?
Yeah, orally we have to.
yeah, otherwise I'm gonna have to read them
Oh.
out and tell who,
We have to.
which commissioner.
Oh, that's right, we don't want to have you speak too much.
That's right.
Let's start in number order then, number,
Yep,
Commission 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it.
yes, sir.
Commission 1.
My vote is 1 and 4.
My position is 4 and 1.
Mine is 2 and 1.
Okay. Mine is 2 and 1.
Mine is 1 and 4.
3 1s, 3 4s, actually 5 1s.
We have a tally keeper.
So you have a tie on first place, it's 1 and 2, and then you have a number 2 would be 1 and 4, so. I don't know, you don't have a consensus on one. I mean, I think.
I'll change my vote to 1 and 4 instead of 4 and 1, if that helps you out there.
So you have a consensus
One
three.
is the fire station?
No, 2 is the fire station, 1 is the star you
I
wanted.
voted backwards.
Yes,
So
you
1 and
did.
2 for me.
Who voted first? Was that the mayor?
The first person that voted was the deputy mayor.
Say your
Then
numbers.
me, we went in order of, so it's 1 and 4, 1 and 4, 1 and 2, 2 and 1, 1 and 4.
I think you got, number one is your preference. Number two.
Yes.
I don't know what your number two is. Do you have any idea?
Four, yeah,
Okay,
four would be,
So 1 and 4.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That was easy.
hey, you know, it's fun.
Oh, that was what we need to do to get the best for our city, and that's correct.
We appreciate the input.
So, I guess that would be a motion, is that correct, Mr. Attorney, or did we handle that way?
No,
You're
there's
fine.
no motion to be
Well,
made, they're just,
they
we're
typed
giving
in
direction.
Feedback.
Yeah, this was just a
Here.
discussion item.
Yeah.
Just a discussion, says it in the note. All right. So therefore.
All right, so we're done with that.
Yep, and now we'll read by title only and adopt resolution number 2565, Mr. Attorney, which is agenda item 12C.
Resolution number 25-1695, resolution of the City Commission, of the City of Longwood, authorizing execution and delivery of a Clean Water State Revolving Fund Amendment Number 4 to Loan Agreement, WW 590550, with the State of Florida Department of Environmental Protection for the loan authorized by Ordinance 22-2233 concerning the financing of the East Longwood Phase 2 wastewater system improvement and expansion project involving the abatement of septic tanks on properties and connection of such properties to the city's wastewater system and servicing fees, providing for severability and an effective date.
Okay, I guess Mr. Smith is our speaker on it.
Yes, I am really here if you have any questions. This is, as it said, this is Amendment 4 to the loan that was for the septic to sewer Phase 2 project. So we finally got the paperwork back in from SRF, the State Revolving Fund, and this is the amendment. This sets our amount we owe biannually. So that's pretty much it. Once they get the final numbers, they come it up. And this is just approving that, so.
Okay, so is there any questions for Mr. Smith?
No, Mr. Mayor, if you're ready for a motion, let me know.
Questions this way?
No, we're good.
Yes, we are.
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Mayor, that we approve item 12C as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion from Commissioner Morgan, second from Commissioner Boney. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Boney?
Yes.
Commissioner McMillan?
Yes.
Commissioner Morgan?
Yes.
Mayor Sackett?
Yes, that being unanimous, 12C.
Deputy
Good.
Mayor Schumi?
One more, we left her out.
Abby's still down here, folks.
I see ya.
Yes.
Yes, so now we're unanimous. One absentee, no. We're unanimous 5-0 on 12C, so we move on to city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo what Chris Kittner said about the Historic Society, their involvement with the Lewis House project and getting us to the point to where we are today, as well as staff, numerous staff members and Chris Kittner's team, along with the procurement team, worked to prepare for tonight's presentation. So thank you for that. Good news is the end of this week, City Hall parking lot will be closed off and it'll be getting its surface redone and restriped, the whole entire parking lot around City Hall. So we're just urging any guests, employees, or anyone that comes to visit City Hall to please park in the community building parking lot. It'll be this Thursday and Friday this week. And that is all for my report. Thanks.
Thank you. I do like your Friday reports. Those are very,
Yes.
very nice.
Thank you.
All right, now we move on to our attorney, please.
No report.
No report, and then our city clerk.
I have a couple of things. As a reminder, the fire department promotions and recognitions will be tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday at 3:30 at Fire Station 15. Then the Ride for Freedom benefiting Esther, the outreach for single mothers and children, is on Saturday, October 18th. That starts at 8:45 with coffee and donuts, and then at 10 a.m. they'll depart from J. Raymond Construction at 465 West Warren Avenue with a police and fire escort. The next Mayors and Managers meeting is on Tuesday, October 21st at the Justin James E.C. Perry Courthouse Annex in the second floor training room, 101 Esslinger Way in Sanford. I'm coordinating the ribbon cutting for Form Heat Studios. It's the Pilates studio by Three Odd Guys. They've proposed Friday, October 17th at 5, or Saturday, October 18th at 2:30, right before the truck or treat. So I just wanted to see what day was best for everyone.
Personally, I would prefer Friday.
Yeah, it'd be easier for me Saturday.
What time on Friday?
Friday, 5, that's the 17th.
That's FLC committee meeting day, but we should be back by.
We should be back.
I'm good. As well.
So Friday, the 17th at 5 o'clock?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then I also wanted to inquire whether the commissioners participate in the Tri-County League of Cities events. They have an upcoming October general membership meeting, Wednesday, October 16th at 12, from 12 to 1 at Wyndham Gardens on McCoy Road in Orlando.
Yes.
You say Wednesday, the 16th?
Wednesday, October 16th, 12 o'clock.
Isn't Thursday?
No, Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
Thursday's the 16th.
Okay, my bad. Thursday, October 16th
Okay.
You said they're
12
normally
o'clock though, right?
Thursdays.
at 12, yes.
That's okay.
So would that be?
Wednesday, I'm going back to the dentist again for the 6th time in.
Put that in your
4
calendar,
weeks.
Leanne.
So Commissioner Morgan?
Yeah.
or-
All right, we're flying back from, we're flying back from.
Okay. And then I also wanted to confirm whether the commission plans to attend the mayor's update. I know Mayor Sackett is a speaker that day. I will have to get tickets for everyone, so I just need to confirm the RSVP on that. Yeah.
What day is that?
That's October the 30th, Thursday, at the Marriott Lake Mary.
We're a mayor, man.
No, 31st.
That's horrible. You don't know that, Tony.
Yep.
Yeah, and then lastly, I received a phone call from Ruth Osborne with the Marine Corps. She's interested in cleaning veteran tombstones at the Longwood Memorial Garden Cemetery. She'd like to know whether the city's open to allowing this volunteer effort.
I think that's usually a no.
As long as it's done
Yeah, it's
in
gotta be
accordance
done
with,
Real
The
specific.
guidelines.
yeah, the guidelines
They
of
almost have to be certified
cleaning
people.
those.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't go in and put ammonia on them or vinegar.
I,
No, I believe she's following
No, no,
guidelines.
no steel brush and
Check
bleach.
to see,
yeah, there's a lady, I'll try to get her name for you, that worked with Michelle
right,
Tracy from the Historic Society and Lori Rice, and she knows all the ins and outs of that. So I'll try to get you her name so you can reach out to her, because you want to be careful. There's a lot of rules and regs that go with that, so.
Right. Okay, that's on my report.
Yeah.
Congratulations again, Madam
Yes.
Clerk.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
we are adjourned.
Don't.
No, we replaced